Shalom, brethren. I'm sharing another lesson study with you, and I would love for you all to correct me via WhatsApp, email, or even take it upon yourselves to make the necessary corrections. This word is not my word. It is Yahuwah's word to us. One has to be humble enough to recognize that he or she is only a mere part of the body. My lesson study begins in Genesis chapter 2 verse 3. The interest is in the word sanctified or sanctify. Genesis chapter 2 verses 3. It says, "And Elohim blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which Elohim created and made." The Strong's Exhaustive Bible Concordance renders the word sanctify, sanctified, H6942. It is spelled Q-A-D-A-S-H, Kodash. It is a primitive root word. It means to be, causatively, make, pronounce, or observe as, clean, ceremonially or morally, appoint, bid, consecrate, dedicate, hallow, proclaim, purify, etc., etc. From about the 13th chapter of the book of Exodus, we can start to read in the various chapters what the word sanctification or sanctified means. However, I will go down to Exodus chapter 31 verse 13 so that we can have a firm understanding of what this sanctification is and what it is about. Exodus chapter 31 verse 12. "And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, Speak thou also unto the children of Israel, saying, Verily my Sabbaths ye shall keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that ye may know that I am Yahuwah that doeth sanctify you." The Sabbath is a sign for us, Israel, to know that it is Yahuwah who sanctifies us. It is Yahuwah who cleanses us. How do we know this? Because of the Sabbath. Scripture tells us in Mark 2:27, the Sabbath was made for man. That is what Yahushua said. But notice, the Sabbath is our sanctifying point. That hour is Israel. The Sabbath is Israel's sanctifying point. Bear this in mind, brethren, as I go forward to the book of Joshua, chapter 7, verses 10 to 13. Joshua chapter 7, verses 10. "And Yahuwah said unto Joshua, Get thee up, wherefore liest thou upon thy face? Israel have sinned, and they have also transgressed my covenant, which I commanded them. For they have even taken of the accursed thing, and have also stolen, and dissembled also. And they have put it even among their own stuff. Therefore the children of Israel could not stand before their enemies, but turned their backs before their enemies, because they were accursed. Neither will I be with you any more, except ye destroy the accursed from among you. Up, sanctify the people, and say, sanctify yourselves against tomorrow. For thus saith Yahuwah Elohim of Israel, there is an accursed thing in the midst of thee, O Israel. Thou canst not stand before thine enemies until ye take away the accursed from among you. There is an accursed thing in the midst of thee, O Israel. Thou canst not stand before thine enemies until ye take away the accursed thing from among you. Brothers and sisters, we see that Joshua was commanded to get up and sanctify Israel, to cleanse Israel and get them ready. As we read on in this chapter, we will see that they would have been searched until that accursed thing was found. A diligent search was made. Hence, this brings me closer to the issue that I've been addressing for the past few weeks. Returning to the covenant and understanding Yahuwah's calendar. This burden falls on all of us to come together with whatever knowledge we have based on scripture about the understanding of Yahuwah's calendar, so that we can remove the accursed thing. What is that accursed thing? The keeping of the Gregorian, the Julian, the Constantinian, the Egyptian, the Greek, the Medes and the Persian, and the Babylonian calendars. Everything about these calendars has been keeping us back. It is not to say that we do not know Yahuwah. It is not to say that we do not call on Yahuwah. But Yahuwah will not work on our behalf until we acknowledge that we have to be sanctified according to his prescribed method. Jeremiah chapter 6 verse 16. Thus saith Yahuwah, stand ye in the ways, and see, and ask for the old paths. This is what Yahuwah says. Ask for the old paths. Where is the good way? And walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk therein. Why is it that we are halt between two opinions? If we are for Yahuwah, it means that we're going to hold on to Yahuwah. Solely hold on to Yahuwah. Just as Moses left Egypt and left everything about Egypt behind, so it is for us that are being prepared to go into the kingdom. We have to leave everything behind and hold on to Yahuwah in faith. Brothers and sisters, the scriptures will expose us and reveal to us what we need to do. Romans chapter 13 verses 10 to 14. Love worketh no ill to his neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfilling of the law. And that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. The night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on the armor of light. Let us walk honestly as in the day, not in rioting and drunkenness, not in chambering and wantonness, not in strife and envying. Put ye on Yahushua Mashiach, and make no provision for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof. Some may be saying, well, if the Sabbath is not Saturday, and the Sabbath is governed by the moon and the sun, I may have to give up my job, or I may lose my job. And others yet may be saying, I can't do this. This is too much. When we read the scriptures in Torah, we see that 600,000 men plus families and a mixed multitude were brought out of Egypt. Brothers and sisters, the second Exodus will be greater and more miraculous than that. That is enough for us to have faith, knowing what has passed and knowing what will come. This is the book of Jubilees, chapter 1, verse 13 to verse 15. And this day that is being talked about here, when you read from verses 1, you will see that this day is talking about Israel. And they will forget my law and all my commandments and all my judgments, and will go astray as to new moon and Sabbaths and festivals and jubilees and ordinances. That's where we were astray with regards to when is the new moon, when is the Sabbath, when is the feast of Memorial Blowing the Trumpet, or Passover, or Tabernacles, Jubilees, that is 50 years, and ordinances, what governs how we keep the statutes, laws, and commandments of Yahuwah. Verse 14 says, and after this, they will turn to me from amongst the Gentiles. So we have to come out from the Gentiles. Let go of the Gregorian, let go of the Julian, let go of the Babylonian. Let go of them, let go of everything about them. And after this, they will turn to me. After we would have been blinded, after we would have forgotten the laws and the commandments and the judgments and gone astray from Yahuwah. It says, and after this, they will turn to me from amongst the Gentiles. You in Barbados, you in America, you in Germany, you will turn from amongst the Gentiles with all their heart and with all their soul and with all their strength. And I will gather them from amongst all the Gentiles, and they will seek me, so that I shall be found of them. When they seek me with all their heart and with all their soul. Remember, we spoke a few minutes ago about the second Exodus being greater than the first Exodus, where there was 600,000 men plus women and children. Think about modern day refugees. We will no longer be refugees. We will be taken into that wilderness, and the rebels will be purged. We will be purged, sanctified. We will be rid of the rebels, and then we will be marching forward to Israel. Not just a small little piece of land that they claim is Israel. Abraham's promise was not a small promise. Abraham's promise was a grand promise. The scripture in Genesis says, I am thy exceeding great reward. Brothers and sisters, Jubilees chapter 1, verse 15 continues to say, "And I will disclose to them abounding peace with righteousness, and I will remove them the plant of uprightness with all my heart and with all my soul, and they shall be for a blessing and not for a curse, and they shall be the head and not the tail." It is time for us to keep Yahuwah's laws, statutes, judgments, and commandments in covenant based on His word and His word alone. How long, brethren, are we going to halt between two opinions? Remember those that got swallowed up by the earth when they rebelled against Moses? Supposedly, they didn't rebel against Moses. They rebelled against Yahuwah. Those rebels were swallowed. What makes you and I think that if we continue to rebel, if we continue to hold on to the Julian or the Gregorian Saturn's day, which is Saturday, which is said to be the Sabbath, what makes you think, or what makes me think, that we will not be destroyed for holding on to these things? We have to have faith with works. We have to come to the point of being sanctified by Yahuwah's true Sabbath. We know Yahuwah. We know what it means to be at the bottom. Brothers and sisters, all of creation is mourning and groaning and waiting for the sons of the true and living Elohim to rise up in truth and in righteousness. Love for Yahuwah, love for Yahusha, love for myself, and love for my family, my nation, Israel. Shalom, brethren.